2. Have you ever stopped to think about what the future of finance really looks like? We hear a lot about automation, AI, and digital currencies, but there's a crucial detail we often miss. The future of finance isn't just automated, it's conditional. Your access to your own money, to markets, and to basic opportunities will increasingly depend on complex, automated systems that you don't control and may not even understand. This is why the concept of financial sovereignty isn't just an abstract idea for economists or tech enthusiasts anymore. It's becoming a fundamental necessity for everyone. So, what does financial sovereignty actually mean? Let's break it down to its core. It means one simple, powerful thing. You can store your value, you can move your value, and you can access your value, all without having to ask for permission from a third party. It's the ability to control your economic life directly, without an intermediary deciding whether or not you're allowed to. This might sound simple, but in the world we live in, it's revolutionary. If you think about it, true financial sovereignty has never really existed in the traditional financial system. For centuries, we've operated on a system of trust and permission. Banks can freeze your accounts for a variety of reasons, sometimes without warning. Governments can change financial rules overnight, impacting your savings and investments. And perhaps the most silent threat of all, inflation, can quietly and consistently reduce your purchasing power, eroding the value of your hard-earned money over time. Most of us don't actually control our money. We essentially rent access to it from these large institutions. We're participants in a system where the ultimate control lies elsewhere. Now, let's bring automation into the picture. The rise of artificial intelligence and complex algorithms is accelerating this reality at an incredible speed. AI systems are now making critical financial decisions every second of every day. These systems decide who gets approved for a loan, who gets blocked from making a transaction, who gets flagged for suspicious activity, and ultimately, who gets excluded from the financial system altogether. These decisions often happen instantly, silently, and without a clear path for appeal. An algorithm, based on data points you may not even be aware of, could lock you out of your financial life. This isn't to say that automation is inherently bad. In fact, it brings incredible efficiency, speed, and convenience. The real issue isn't the technology itself. The real danger is our growing dependence on a single, centralized system. When we put all our trust and all our assets into one automated framework, we create a single point of failure. If that system changes its rules, experiences a glitch, or decides you no longer fit its criteria, you could be left with nothing. The risk isn't technology. The risk is blind reliance. This is where the modern definition of financial sovereignty comes into play. It's not about going off-grid or rejecting society. It's not about becoming a digital hermit. It's about creating optionality for yourself. True financial freedom in the 21st century means having more than one way to store your value, more than one way to move your money, and more than one way to participate in the economy. It's about building a personal financial infrastructure that is resilient and adaptable, so you're not at the mercy of any single entity. So, how do you build this? Sovereign individuals think differently. They diversify their systems, not just their assets. We're all told to diversify our investment portfolios. Don't put all your money in one stock, but how many of us think about diversifying our access points? This means not relying solely on one bank, one payment app, or even one type of currency. It's about ensuring that if one system fails, whether it's a technical outage, a policy change, or a frozen account, you have another one ready to go. This redundancy is your safety net. A huge part of this is understanding the concept of custody. It's a simple question, but one that has profound implications. Who actually holds your assets? Who controls the keys to your accounts? Who has the power to reverse your access? If you're using a traditional bank, the bank holds your money. If you're using a centralized crypto exchange, the exchange holds your private keys. If you don't know the answer to these questions, or if the answer is someone else, then you don't fully control your value. You have an IOU, a promise, but not direct ownership. Learning about self-custody, whether it's for digital assets or other forms of value, is a critical step towards sovereignty. Beyond the technical aspects, sovereignty also requires literacy. Financial literacy is no longer just about budgeting or investing in the stock market. Today, it means understanding how money actually moves through digital networks. It means knowing how rules are created and enforced by both governments and algorithms. And it means identifying where the real power sits in any financial system you use. Jet. Ignorance is the foundation of dependency. The less you understand, the more you have to trust others. But knowledge, understanding that creates leverage. It allows you to make informed choices and navigate the system on your own terms. In this increasingly automated world, financial freedom becomes a structural challenge. It's less about chasing the highest possible returns and more about architecting a system that maintains your access and control, no matter what happens. The goal is to build a financial life that is robust and antifragile. It's about securing your ability to transact, to save, and to build wealth, even when the systems around you change, which they inevitably will. It's about ensuring your economic agency is preserved. The most resilient people I know, the ones who seem to navigate change with ease, don't try to fight the future. They don't protest against technology. Instead, they prepare for it. They are the early adopters, the curious learners who take the time to understand new systems before they become mainstream. They stay flexible, avoiding rigid financial plans that depend on a single outcome. Most importantly, they are obsessed with avoiding single points of failure in every aspect of their lives, especially their finances. When you look at it from the outside, a financially sovereign life doesn't seem dramatic or exciting. In fact, it often looks boring. It looks redundant. It looks overly prepared. It's the person with multiple bank accounts, some assets in self-custody, a bit of physical cash, and an understanding of different payment networks. There's no single get-rich-quick scheme. It's a slow, deliberate process of building a resilient financial foundation. And that's exactly why it works. When a crisis hits, when a system fails, the prepared individual isn't scrambling. They're just switching to Plan B, C, or D. The systems we use will continue to evolve. The rules governing finance will continue to change. Automation will become even more deeply integrated into our lives. This is a given. But sovereignty, that personal freedom and control, will always belong to those who build their options before they desperately need them. It's like storing water and food before a storm, not during it. By the time you realize you're trapped in a system, it's often too late to build an alternative. Ultimately, the future of money isn't a simple battle of control versus freedom. It's a more nuanced dynamic, awareness versus dependence. Those who take the time to become aware to understand the architecture of the systems they use, to see where the control points are, and to learn about alternatives, will always have the advantage. They can position themselves to navigate changes, while those who remain dependent and unaware will simply be carried along by the current, for better or for worse. The people who understand the system always move first. Financial sovereignty isn't something that's given to you. It's not a right that is guaranteed by any government or company. Something you must actively design for yourself. You have to be the architect of your own financial freedom. And in an automated world, where decisions are made in milliseconds by lines of code, that design isn't just a good idea, it's a strategy for survival. Thank you so much for watching. If this video gave you a new perspective on your financial future, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on navigating our rapidly changing world. Stay curious, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next one.